Hey guys, I know I'm a bit late to the party here, but you're still gonna watch it, okay? I wanted to do this. I've never done a tier list before, so I wanted to do a tier list ranking all the books I read in 2023, not just my top 5s, top 10s, etc. So that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, now let's get into it. And before we get started, I do want to say I recommend checking out my top 5 if you care, because obviously some of my favorites are going to be in that top 5, so check that out first, just in case you want to avoid any spoilers of sorts. Alright guys, so let's get started. As you can see here, I have a little bit of some tiers going on. I didn't want to do the more basic S, A, B, C, D, whatever. So we have at the top, Will Never Stop Talking About. These are books that I loved and that I recommend to probably everyone. Then you have Awesome and Epic. They're awesome, maybe a little bit epic. So really, very good. And then we have Pretty Good. Self-explanatory. Maybe I didn't absolutely love it. It didn't blow me away in any way, but it was pretty good. Then I have Big Meh. It was fine. Then we got Not For Me Dog. I didn't like it. And then Don't Look At Me. I don't want it. I will say now that I liked basically every book, mostly every book I read this year in a certain capacity. So nothing's probably too bad. Just saying, okay. So I did read 38 books this year, and I decided to put in my manga as well, just because I might as well. I only read 2 manga, which is really low for me. Very, very low. But, when you're reading novels, I stopped focusing on manga as much. I might do an anime tier list one day, but let's get started. So, I didn't want to do this in any particular order. I didn't want to do all Red Rising, yada yada. So I broke it up a bit just for the sake of it. But, coincidentally, Red Rising, as you see here, was the first book I read this year. And Red Rising, I'm going to go Awesome and Epic. I thought it was great. A lot of people didn't love the first one. Very Hunger Games, you hear a lot. But I really enjoyed it. It had been a while since I even considered the Hunger Games, so I thought it was pretty refreshing all around. And then we have another big one. We have The Blade Itself, the First Law trilogy. This one I'm also gonna go. Actually, do I want to put Awesome and Epic? Because it's such a slow. It's one big story. I broke it up just for the sake of it. Obviously, it's 3 different books, but it's one big story. I'm gonna go Awesome and Epic. Not much happens, but I didn't mind too much because the characters were so well done. Now, Red Rising and First Law, you know these. That's all, okay? You need no introduction, or you shouldn't. But yeah, okay. Those are the big ones. Now we have, this is Misery by Stephen King. This is pretty good. I've been lukewarm with King, with everything I've read by him. He's solid. I watched the movie after this. I had watched the movie before. I didn't remember much, but I did. I knew I watched it, and I thought it was okay. At least when I was younger. But the book, it was pretty thrilling. There's a lot of, Annie was a lot more Cuckoo. And I thought it was pretty interesting all around. I think it's one of his best ones. A lot of people love it. It's some of people their favorite. So yeah, I think all around it was pretty good. Now this is a weird one. You will definitely not know what this is. This is The Choice of Magic. This is kind of a, I want to say it's a pretty unknown one. I'd say all around. It almost breaches into YA maybe, but it's also pretty, I don't know, gory sometimes. It's basically just a really traditional story of a wizard guy going through his life and the trials and everything that come along with that. It's pretty enjoyable. I actually audiobooked this, so it's kind of just like my background one that I listen to. But the first one was a lot of world building, so not much happened at all. But I'm gonna say meh. I enjoyed it, but I don't think the writing is great, and the story isn't necessarily amazing either. Okay, and then next we have Pet Sematary by Stephen King again. I'm gonna put this in pretty good as well. Once again, King hasn't really blown me away with anything yet. I think I like Misery more than Pet Sematary, and maybe that's because maybe I had high expectations, because both Misery and Pet Sematary people love, and I really thought it would blow me away. I thought it would be the one, but Pet Sematary was okay. I think there were definitely some moments that were creepy, and maybe I could see if you have a family, this might hit you a bit harder, but not me personally. Still all around creepy, prolific story, pretty good. Okay, then I have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Just finished this a couple weeks ago, right before the year ended. Really enjoyed it. I'm gonna go awesome and epic. Mind-bending, thrilling, emotional, science. Pretty awesome. I don't want to say too much about it because it kind of throws you in right away, but very good. And then again, Sword of Kaigen. I'm gonna go awesome and epic again. You're gonna see some trends, okay? That's what happens with these tier lists. It's gonna happen. Let me rank them around a bit, actually. I think I like Sword of Kaigen a bit more than Dark Matter. This is a somewhat traditional, kind of traditional samurai story with a bit of magical elements thrown in there. I actually didn't plan on reading this for so long, and then I decided to pick it up because of someone really, well, I don't think she wanted me to read it, but I read it anyway. And it was so much more emotional than I had assumed it would be. So it definitely caught me off guard a lot. Yeah, I mean, it has a really strong protagonist, a female lead protagonist, and there's also a lot of moments that, like I said, it's emotional. It really caught me off guard with how emotional it was, and how I don't get hit by books too much in that sense, but this definitely kind of made me sit there and kind of just be like, why you did that. So yeah, awesome and epic. There's a couple things in there that happened, just kind of story choices that I didn't love, and kind of not how I didn't want it to go that way, but It happens. So that's why it's not gonna be my top of the top, but awesome and epic. Okay, this was actually my last read of the year, a psalm for the wild built. I'm gonna go. It's hard to compare these, as you see with Pet Sematary, Misery, and this one. This is a cozy, thought-provoking, relaxing book. I'm not gonna say it was awesome and epic, because it definitely didn't blow me away, but it was just what I needed at that time. Like I said, this was actually during Christmas time, and I just wasn't in the mood to read anything, and I read this. It's a really short little book. I think it's only like 150 pages. Yeah, I finished it in a day. Definitely what I needed. Nothing crazy, but it was thought provoking. It makes you really reevaluate life and the meaning we put to it. So if you like that, check it out. Okay, now we're getting to the exciting ones. Obviously, Lonesome Dove. If you watch any of BookTube, you already know how good this book is. We'll never stop talking about it. Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry is beauty, is art. It's sensational. It's beautiful. It's heartwarming. Brotherly love, bromance. It's everything. It's literally just a cattle drive, okay? I've said it so many times, but you just read it. It's amazing. We'll never stop talking about it. I finished this book and I wanted to read it again and again. Read it. Amazing. Okay, and then we have Blood Over Bright Haven. That's by Miss M.L. Wong again. She also wrote, of course, Sword of Kaigen. I'm gonna say this was awesome and epic as well. I didn't like it as much as Sword of Kaigen, but it was really freaking good. Once again, female lead. Very, I don't know. I feel like I like this book even more because it actually reminds me of someone in my life, just like kind of like the hard-headed kind of female lead, and it made it all the more enjoyable. But overall, with the world building, I thought it was really interesting. I mean, it was. I didn't plan on reading this at all either, but I'm so glad I did. Man, thinking about it again. Do I like it more than Dark Matter? It was gory too. Once again with the emotional stuff. But once again, there's kind of a few things that happened that I didn't love. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily. It's just a me thing. Of course. But yeah, it was cool. Cool. Then we have The Fall, a short little novella by Ryan Cahill in the Blood and Fire? That series. I don't know. I decided to read this off a whim. It was pretty good for a, I don't know, like a 70, 80 page novella. And yeah, it was great just for that. Action packed. Threw me right into it, and I instantly knew what was happening. I didn't have to catch up at all. I can't say too much because, yeah, it still only was 70 to 80 pages, but drew me in. It was a great and fun story. What more can you ask for in a novella? I can't wait to get to the rest of the series for that. Alright, next we have Circe by Madeline Miller. Decided to pick this up because I loved Achilles. Loved Achilles. I read that in 2022 though. And Circe, I feel like I enjoyed this while reading it, but now that I look back at this, I kind of want to give it a big meh. Once again, meh is meh. Doesn't mean bad. just means it was fine. I felt like this was a very consistent book in that it was okay throughout the whole story. Nothing really happened, but overall, I like mythology, so that was cool. It was cool hearing a bit more and learning a bit more about that side of things. I never really read anything about Scifi before, so that was good. I'm gonna put it above Choice of Magic, just because that's the first book of Choice of Magic, so you'll understand later. Okay, then we'll go with I Am Legend. You might know the movie. This was where it was based off of. I'm gonna go Big Man again. It was just short. It was based. I don't think it's not a novella, but it was only like 160 pages maybe, and it was good, but not pretty good. It was meh. It wasn't really creepy or anything necessarily, but it was interesting to see kind of where it all came from. I liked the movie a lot. This is nothing like the movie, so don't worry. I don't know, just you could read this. Nothing like the movie. Overall, just a nice little vampire-ish story. Yeah, I read it for spooky season. Wasn't terrible. Okay, now we're getting to Golden Sun. Definitely top of awesome and epic. Definitely. Yeah, that feels right. Golden Sun's fucking cool, okay? Golden Sun is so... Red Rising, man, you've definitely heard enough of it by now, but it's not for nothing. It is great and loved for a reason. Golden Sun is kind of where everything... You get outside the Hunger Games-esque feel of Red Rising in the first one, and Golden Sun takes you on a whole nother adventure and plunges you right into the depths of insanely intense speeches by Darrow. A lot of crazy stuff happens in Golden Sun as well. I read that, of course, in the beginning of the year, so I don't know the specifics, but I do vaguely know of kind of everything that happened. So, top of awesome and epic. Badass. Okay. Now, this is the last Argument of Kings. The last book in the First Law trilogy. We'll never stop talking about. As I said before, it's all one story. So, it really couldn't have been all great, because the first book, The Blade itself, was really good. It was nice world building. You got to get to know the characters, but not much happened at all, really. You just gotta love characters. The last Argument of Kings, I feel like a lot was thrown in there that was also action-packed. We'll never stop talking about it. I loved First Law. Everyone loves First Law. You have to love First Law. And I thought it was a pretty great ending as well. Just what you'd expect from Joe Abercrombie. Pain and more pain. Yeah, I've talked about this series a lot. Not much more can be said. Everyone can die, and they might. That is First Law. Okay, now we have 5th season. Kind of forgot about this one. I have to put it above a psalm. It's good. 5th season is going to go at the top of pretty good. Mostly because this is a trilogy that I haven't gotten to the rest of. And this first book was kind of just connecting some pieces together to form where it's most likely going to go. I don't know yet. But this first book was pretty good. Pretty good. 5th season is also a very divisive one. I feel like a lot of people don't like it at all. Some people think it's predictable. I didn't predict it. I'm a little dumb though, so I liked it. Okay, Now, Iron Gold. This is the 4th book in the Red Rising series. Now, this one's going to be hard. I don't know how people feel about Iron Gold. I'm questioning if I should put it at the end of pretty good or big meh. Iron Gold, I'm not going to say ruined Red Rising for me, but damn, did it slow me down. It kind of put me into a huge, like, it's one of those slumps that's not because the book was so good and I can't read anything else. It's because it was so hard to get through that I don't want to read for a while. And it wasn't bad. Of course, nothing in Red Rising is bad. It just did some things that really bogged it down for me, and it was so hard to get through. And it's also just a mind thing. Because it did that, it took me a while to get back into it, and then I just kind of built it up in my head. But it had some great moments. It had some high points, but it was just slow in a lot of places. Regardless of all that, the highs were high. So it's going to go at the end of pretty good. I'm actually going to put it... I'm going to put it over the fall. Just because, I mean, it's a novella. I know some people may love it, but it's just not enough of a story for me to attach myself to. Okay, what else we got? We have Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. Yeah. Top. We'll never stop talking about. I have not stopped thinking about this book since reading it. I don't know what it is. Nostalgia, maybe. I did love the movies after reading this and then go and watch the movies again. No. The book is so much better. So much more science fiction. It just gives you so much more depth. Obviously, it is a book about just kind of the behind the scenes of why things were happening and going wrong. Besides the kids, you'll hear that a lot. The kids sucked. But it wasn't that bad. And I also loved how, Michael Crichton used Malcolm as kind of just like, I don't know, just to say whatever he wanted kind of guy, just to rant. It was pretty enjoyable. Simple story, dinosaurs. It was cool. It was epic. And it might be one of my favorite books of all time. We shall see. Read it if you haven't. And here's my manga picks. Vinland Saga, awesome and epic. I'm going to put it at the end of awesome and epic because I've only read 6 of the volumes, the omnibus, whatever. It's just that. It's so dope. It's such a dense story. It's such a beautiful... I watched the anime too as well. Man, you gotta watch it. And if you hate on the form arc, you're wrong. Your opinion is wrong. It is a beautiful story, and it gives me the chills. Okay, now I have Iron Prince. This is progressive fantasy. If you like manga, you like anime, you'll like progressive fantasy. It's kind of like a really tech-heavy academy of kids kind of thing. College kids, I think. Yeah, it's kind of just like one big tournament arc. Really fun. I'm going to put it once again above the fall. You know what? I'm going to put it... I don't care. I'm going to put it above all those. I'm going to put it up here because it was damn fun. And that's important. And this is my list. So, yeah, it was really fun. Action-packed. The writing isn't great, I'm going to be honest with you. But it was just so... I don't know how else to describe it. It was so adventurous and fun. I don't know, it's cool. That's all that matters. Alright. Man, this is taking long. How y'all do this? Anyway. So we have... Which one is this? Okay, this is the second book in the Choice of Magic. I think it's called the Art of the Adept series. This is the second one. This one is pretty good. I'm going to put this above all of these, actually. And if you don't know what this is, you can't judge me for it. Trust me. It's so enjoyable. It's just something you don't have to think about. You'll see a trend here. I do enjoy some of the more complicated stories or whatever, but sometimes I just want to not think about it as much. And that's kind of what The Choice of Magic does for me. Especially the narrator is awesome. And this is the second book, of course, so the world building is a little bit more fleshed out by now. The magic starts taking a bit of a bigger part in it, and it becomes really kind of a sprawling epic. You get some fae, you get some gods, that kind of stuff. So if you like some of the more traditional magical fantasy, the second in the Art of the Adept series goes there. I just want y'all to know, full disclosure, everything did just crash. So I want you to know the effort I just put forth. I just had to redo everything. And you may notice a little bit of changes in the colors because it satisfied my brain a bit more, so I decided to do that. Anyway, where was I? Yes, so I just said that. Okay, this one here, that seems correct. All right, what else we got before they're hanged? That's the second one in the first law. This one, I said the first one was a big setup, but it was still awesome and epic. I'm actually going to put this one up here, above Red Rising. Well, yeah, the first one, for sure. A lot of stuff happened in this one. It's really when it started kind of getting going. Besides, like I said again, the first one was more of a setup, really get to know the characters a bit more. The second one, you get to know them even more, and there's actual plot and action involved. So it was way more enjoyable, in my opinion. All right, then we got the big one, huge one, in fact, Morning Star. Okay, this one is amazing. Morning Star is very similar to Golden Sun in that it changed even more. It got even better. There's even more action. There's even better speeches by my man Darrow. It's even more thrilling. It's honestly, in my opinion, kind of took a step up in every regard to Golden Sun. Golden Sun has some pretty big twists in it that are important, but still, I enjoyed Morning Star a little bit more. So that's why it's up in the top. Let's see. Now I got Attack on Titan. Oh, where am I going to put Attack on Titan? Definitely above Vinland Saga. And I know it's kind of hard to compare, at least in my mind, manga with these. I'm not really comparing, but in the terms of the tiers, where it's going to rank, it's going to be a bit off. I'll do a anime and manga one eventually. But I just want to throw in these, like I said. But I'm going to put it here. It was awesome, epic. I'm actually going to put it above Blood Over Brighthaven, okay? I'm actually going to put it above Dark Matter and all that. I did love Attack on Titan. Kind of one of those that I don't know if I love the ending, but I understand. Obviously, I understand the meaning of it and how it was important that it went that way. But still, still amazing. I'm not gonna dwell on it too much. Attack on Titan. We're talking about books, okay? Then I have Bloodline. I think this is the 10th one, Cradle. I read most of Cradle in 2022, but I had a few remnants. that I need to catch up on. I actually still haven't caught up with Cradle. It ended now. But it's a progressive fantasy. It's huge. It's the #1 progressive fantasy. If you know what progressive fantasy is, this is kind of the ideal one. It is, in my opinion, the best version. Now, unfortunately, Cradle kind of lost steam for me. I loved books 1 through like 7. Like, I destroyed it. I read them all in like 2 months. Then I got to this, and it was a bit of a slog, in my opinion. It's still really good. But not. I didn't love it. It really just. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It might have been because I read too many of them, and it just lost the meaning for me a bit. But it was hard for like about 80 to 100 pages. I didn't read anything for like 3 months, and then I went back to it, and it was good. So I'm gonna put it in the middle of pretty good. We have another progressive fantasy, Beware of Chicken. This was so fun. I'm actually gonna put it. I'm gonna put it right here. It's so good. It's Beware of Chicken. You can assume a bit what that might entail. Animals and martial arts and epic anime fight scenes. Okay, that's what this is. Don't have to think about it. Just enjoy it. Read that. Let's jump around. Let's make this one right here and put that one right there. So, Priory of the Orange Tree. This was literally like one of the first books I read last year, 2023. So, yeah, and it was. I almost want to put it not for me. I'm not going to go too much into it, but it had some serious pacing issues, in my opinion. It was definitely okay. I feel like I don't even want to say big meh, because there's nothing memorable about it. I'm going to go not for me, dog. I'm sorry. And it has been a while, but I remember finishing it and really not enjoying it. And the more I sit on it, the less I enjoy it. So yeah, I'm gonna go that. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love this. It's a pretty popular. I'm not gonna say romanticy. There's romance, but it's a fantasy book. I don't know. Nothing memorable in my. I really can't. All I remember is I didn't enjoy the last like 200 pages. So that's where that is. Swan Song. Boom. Post-apocalyptic, older book. It's so good. You'll see a trend with a lot of these is big on characters in some regards, and yeah, Mr. Robert does a great job with the characters, and I love the world, and I love the splash of magical elements he threw in there. Just good versus evil kind of story, and it's just so well done. Long book, worth every page. In the top, we'll never stop talking about it. Let's throw that one around. See These Bones. This is a superhero story? Yeah, a superhero story. It's kind of like Iron Prince vibes in that it's just a college kind of superheroes. There's a bit more to it. Basically a necromancer type dude, okay? The writing's not good. No, it's decent. The writing's not great. He curses a lot, which is kind of weird. The tone's off. But wasn't bad. Kind of like a background book. I had read Superpowers. You haven't heard of that, but it's a pretty big superhero series, and I really loved that, and I kind of wanted something similar. And this is almost like a guilty pleasure one where it's really easy to read, and it's kind of like you're just, I don't know, talking to your friends. That's kind of the vibes of this. But it was meh. Alright, now we have the Mage Rant series. This is the first one, Into the Labyrinth. This is YA-ish. I really don't think it's that. I don't know if it's actually YA, but it has YA vibes. This is the same kind of theme, but it's more of like Harry Potter, but different. Simple. I enjoy it. It's progressive fantasy. I kind of went through check out my progressive fantasy video to know why I have so many progressive fantasy books. I was trying to get into it, really, see what was out there, and that was one of them. It was a good one. It wasn't as hardcore progressive fantasy, where our main character like really takes off and gets really strong all of a sudden. Nonetheless, it was enjoyable. That's really all. And this is the third one in that series. I'm actually getting rid of these all right now. They were all meh. I don't even remember enough. I think the third one is going to be the best. But yeah. Read it if you're interested in kind of like wizards-ish. It's not the same as Choice of Magic at all. It leans a bit more heavy into the magic. So, yeah. Let's skip to a big one. Name of the Wind. Patrick Rothfuss. This one... Oh, is it better than the Blade itself? Yeah, it's actually better than Red Rising 2. Name of the Wind is huge. You've heard of Name of the Wind. You should read it. It is whimsical in every sense of that word. I don't know. It's really good. It's really good. I'm not gonna say it's like a complete page turner. I was definitely never bored of it or anything. I never wanted to not read it. But it was pretty dense in my opinion. But yeah, the prose is great. Very Robin Hobb type of feel to it. And there's a few, listen, okay? It made me want to tear up a little bit. Just the act of someone playing music in a book. That's a wild thing, if that makes sense. He's playing an instrument, and you'll see. You should read it. Enjoyable. Bastion. I'm sorry. This is another progressive fantasy. Next year, I'll have a bit more of a diverse range of books. But I was really trying to get into progressive fantasy. Bastion was really good, though. I'm actually going to put it at the bottom of pretty good. It just had a really interesting it had an interesting way of going about progressive fantasy, and it kind of turned it on its head where our character wasn't just trying to get stronger. It's complicated. It throws you right into it, but you'd have to read it to understand. I don't want to spoil anything, but it definitely turns the progressive fantasy trope thing on its head, and it doesn't start you in a typical place that these stories start you at. And it's like demons kind of stuff, okay? It's like a big Pokemon demon. I don't know. It was good. Red Right Hand. This is the second one with See These Bones. This was way better. Really enjoyable. If you like superheroes, I don't know, you should read those. You should read See These Bones, Red Right Hand, and a series called Superpowers. Trust me. It's more of a college kid spin on it. And if you enjoy that kind of thing, I think you'd really like these. Red Right Hand was better writing. He improved a lot. and you get a bit more powers mixed into it, and our main character gets a bit better. Alright, next we have Illborn by Mr. Daniel T. Jackson. This was a very good one. I really enjoyed Illborn, actually. I'm going to put it at the middle of pretty good. It has like heavy religious themes to it. Not in that way where it's like pushing it onto you, but it's a part of the plot. And you kind of follow these a couple of characters that all kind of come together. Big prophecy type stuff. And he's also really good at making you hate a certain character. God, such an annoying character. But yeah, definitely enjoyable. I only read like half of the second book, unfortunately. I really should have finished it. It was good. I think it was actually better than this one. But ADD, it'd be like that. Now we have Lost Stars. This is a Star Wars book. Okay? I really wanted to get to Star Wars. Fun fact, this was the first year I watched all of Star Wars in like 10 years. And yeah, I really wanted to get into Star Wars books, of course, because I started reading again, and I got tons of books. I literally bought like 10 books. Thrawn? Yeah. Bane, all that. But yeah, this is my first Star Wars book, and it was really good. I'm going to put it... I liked it more than that, definitely. Basically kind of like a story from the Empire's perspective, which is really interesting to see. Alright, then we got Reaper. That's the 11th book in Cradle. This one was more fun, for sure. I don't know. It kind of, like I said, the steam, I just killed the steam for me. And I just couldn't get really back into Cradle because I loved the first like 5-6 books. I absolutely tore through. Then it just kind of went downhill from there. Not in quality necessarily. I still really enjoy them, of course. But I don't know. I have no real reason. I'm sure it did get better. I don't know how the ending. I heard most people loved it. I'm gonna get to it eventually, but Reaper didn't stick out necessarily to me. Still pretty good. Okay, and the last one we have is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, and it is. I'm actually gonna put it at the top of pretty good. This was such a dense book. This is another one where I read it and I got like halfway through and I kind of put it down for a bit because it was so dense. It's not complicated, but there's something about it. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but it was just very slow. And yeah, I guess when towards the middle, it really hooked me, and I thought it was pretty epic. I definitely got a bit more used to what's it called, the Sanderlanche or whatever, where things kind of just start snowballing, and I definitely saw that towards the end of this one. And I never got to the second book. I got like 100 pages in. I need to go back to Sanderson and in the Stormlight archive as well. I read like 100 pages of that. I don't know, just something about his writing. It's hard to get into in my opinion, but everyone loves him, literally everyone. So I feel like I wouldn't be any different. I just got to get to it eventually. So yeah, let me take one final look at this. And like I said, yeah, there's no one, don't look at me. I generally enjoyed everything enough. And I'm overall pretty positive when reviewing my books, which may change eventually once I get more used to it. But I feel like I'm just getting through the big ones. So I'm going to like a good bit of things. I don't think I'd really change much. These are pretty interchangeable and they're pretty good because There are things that, or there were books that I liked, but I don't necessarily think about them again. My tops, those are for sure. Definitely Lines Up, Awesome and Epic. Yeah, I think this, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. But yeah, that's me ranking all the books I read in 2023. That's all I have. Hope y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all next time.